Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing good today. I'm very excited because I have two great Dogman encounters right from you guys. Yes, two more subscriber Dogman encounters. One from North Carolina and the other from Illinois. So let's just quit the chit chat and get right on with the Dogman encounters. Our first Dogman encounter brings us to North Carolina. My name is Alice and I live in North Carolina. I won't say the town because I don't want anyone to come looking for this thing. It was August 2015. My son and I decided to go for a walk. It was a beautiful day and we love going for walks. There's a trail system not far from our house, just about 3 miles away, so we started our walk and we passed an older couple and they were arguing, it looked like. The wife was pleading, "Please, let's go, I don't like it here." Before I could ask her why, she grabbed her husband's hand and said, "Let's go now." I thought how strange this was, so we continued our walk. 15 minutes later, we walk up on some deer, about 45 feet to the right of us, just standing there. Everything is silent, and my son says, "Mom, something really stinks." "I smell it too, bub," I say to him. It smelled like rotten meat and urine. The deer started to run up the hill. That's when from the left of us we heard this low growl. About 50 feet from us is where we saw this huge black dog standing on all fours. It looked funny. The hind end was low and its front end was high. After taking a couple of steps is when we heard a loud popping sound. That's when it stood up on its back legs and walked to the tree line and started sniffing the air. Its head was huge, black wolf with pointed ears, long arms with clawed hands, and its hind legs were bent like a dog's. It was so tall. I told my son to turn around and start walking back down the trail. That's when my phone rang. It looked at me, growling and showing its teeth. I was walking backward slowly when someone yelled, "Are you okay?" It was the couple from before with a sheriff. I turned to look back and the creature was gone. The sheriff asked me if we had seen anything strange. I said, "No, just some deer. Why?" He said the older couple said they saw a werewolf. I stuck to my story, and after the sheriff left, the man asked, "Why did you lie to the officer?" I said, "They know what's out here, and I don't need to look crazy, and they don't need me to tell them what's out here." My son and I left, and we were driving away when we heard a loud howl. I've never been so afraid in my life, and I've never went to that trail ever again. Our next story brings us to Decatur, Illinois. I had my encounter with what I am 99% certain was a Dogman. It had to have been 1993 or 94, so I was either 3 or 4 years old at the time. This took place in my current town, Decatur, Illinois. A little backstory: I was pretty nervous and scared kid, so of course I was afraid of the dark, and I would have to sleep in between my parents in their bed from time to time. With that being said, obviously I was very comfortable space and not afraid when I slept alongside of them. I should also mention in this house the rooms were a bit odd, so my parents' room was in the very back of the house and the back door was in their room to the left side. The back door, of course, had a window in it and it was covered up with a thin white curtain. It was on one of those nights where I was being afraid of the dark, my parents decided to let me sleep with them again. I laid in the middle of the bed with my mom to the left and my dad to the right. In their room, they had a little dresser which had a TV on it, which was usually kept on at night. But the volume was very low, but loud enough to have a sort of white noise. This particular night, I woke up and distinctly remembered that I wasn't afraid, nor did I have a bad dream. Did I need to use the bathroom? No. I was just awake and seemingly for no reason at all. I started watching TV. I couldn't tell you what was on, but I do remember being tired still. And I've grown and revised this memory. I can remember feeling very alert, no rhyme or reason to it as far as I knew. I was very into the TV for a short amount of time, but then my eyes wandered to the back door. I saw a silhouette that was close to the door. At the time, I associated it with a silhouette of Batman from Batman the Animated Series. Not the full body, but the head. My second thought after Batman was werewolf. There was large ears on the side of its head, and they were very pointy, and a fairly decent-shaped head. I recall seeing shoulders. I don't remember seeing the end of them, though, so they must have been very wide. At this time, I wasn't feeling scared or even afraid. I just was very alert. Probably because I felt so safe with my mom and dad so close to me, though they slept through this the whole time. Never seen anything other than the silhouette, thanks to the white curtain that was over the back window. I must have fallen back to sleep because I don't remember seeing it walk away. There weren't any sounds or scratching noises, if my memory serves. As the years went on, when I was 10 years old, my older sister came over to do laundry. Somehow we got on the topic of paranormal stuff, which I was very interested in. And for some reason, my sister was telling it's easy to be scared and nervous, baby brother. Experiences with ghosts that she had. I then remembered my very story I'm typing to you now, so of course I started to tell her. She listened attentively, and I could tell her she wasn't humoring me. She really wanted to hear it. The reason I say this is because a detail that I hadn't remembered until a few years back, when I began thinking about what had happened all those years ago, came flooding back and hit me like a ton of bricks, and I definitely got the goosebumps. And I felt creeped out when I came across this detail. When I was telling my sister, I told her about how I had seen a real werewolf at the back door when we lived on Grand Avenue. But then I realized the detail I had somehow forgotten. It had hands. I was explaining it to her at the age, and I definitely recall using my hands to show her what I seen. Put your hands up, palms out, up to your shoulders, a little above your shoulders actually, and that's what I showed my sister, and the image in my mind was there. After that time, it was a little fuzzy, but it was like the final piece to the puzzle, and it felt almost complete. I'm not sure if I'll remember if it walked off or not, or if I had just fallen asleep, but either way, I'm okay that it didn't pursue any sort of mischief, as I've heard the Dogman seems to be famous for. I've always kept my eye out for strange things. That's my story, and I feel like out of all of the Dogman encounters I have heard, mine is definitely the most mundane. Thanks, Jeff. Well, thank you for sharing that story, and you know what? None of these Dogman stories are mundane, and they're definitely not anything to take lightly. You're a very lucky person because, as we've heard, Dogman looking through the window, bad things can happen. So count your blessings that it was that one time and you're still here with us. And I'm glad you are to share that story. So guys, I've got a bunch more subscriber stories. I've got 4 of them right now that I'm working on from North Carolina. And I hope you guys stay with me, and as my channel grows, I'll hopefully have more great stories for you guys. I apologize for my voice being a little crazy tonight. I don't really feel good and had a rough day yesterday and today. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.